All right, everyone. Well, I feel like it's a little bit of redemption time for me. If you've been watching these video walkthroughs in order, you know in our Chapter 6 review, which was on IPv4 addressing, I made some silly mistakes. Yeah, and did not get 100% on my review lab. It's time for me to redeem myself here in this IPv6 addressing lab. Well, let's get started. We need to go to the gigabit 0/0 interface of R2, and we need to configure this IP address, and we need to use EUI64 format for the host portion of that address. Okay, well, this shouldn't be too bad. Let me go ahead and jump on to R2. Once again, make sure you're on the correct router. I know it sounds silly, but it's very easy to jump on the incorrect device and go through all the hard work of making your configuration only to not get the points. So that would be a nightmare. So I'm making sure that I am on R2, and then I need to make sure I'm on the correct interface, and it was interface gigabit 0/0. Okay, so notice the status needs to be up on this interface. So before I can forget, I will no shut it, and look at that. The interface was in an admin down state, so we can see that we're now up thanks to those status messages. And let me do my IPv6 address command. And now one of the big things with IPv6 is we know our chance for a typo has really increased. I got pretty lucky on this address though. It's 2001 and then 1212, 1212, pretty darn easy. And remember the syntax. If we are going to be doing EUI64 for the host bit portion, all we do is a : /64, just like they showed us in the task, and then we say EUI, and I always tab it, EUI-64. So that is how easy it is to go ahead and give an IPv6 address with the EUI64 host portion. Now, if you wanted to see what this address worked out to, wouldn't be a bad verification at this point. You could always do show IPv6. How about interface brief? Yeah, that would work. So do show IPv6 interface brief, and there is the full IPv6 address thanks to our EUI64 syntax. Okay, great. So I've got that done. And on the same router, we need to do gigabit 0/1. So let me do interface gigabit 0/1. Let's do a no shut and look at that. It was also in the shutdown state. So we've taken care of the status being up. And now we have to do an IPv6 address. And notice this address is going to not feature the EUI64, really increasing our chances for a typo that can cost us points here. So I'm going to do this very carefully. IPv6 address 2001 : DB8, all right, : 85A3, : 8A 2C : 370 : 7334. So now I would verify this. So yeah, I'm going to compare it octet to octet to what we were asked to do. Again, chances for a typo here, big time, and we would not want to lose points in an exam environment for something silly like that. Now, what is the subnet mask we should use? Well, it's a 64-bit subnet mask, and I can tell that, even though it wasn't given, because of the PC1 configuration that's on that same network. So I'm going to go ahead and end and save my configuration. Yeah, we have to remember in the exam environment, they won't even tell you in a task to save. You have to know to save. They'll tell you that in the initial instructions for the lab, for the simulation, that you need to save. So we need to remember, save. And my Packet Tracer book exams, they grade for that. Yeah, so you are being graded just like you would be in the actual CCNA exam. You have to save or you don't get all your points. Okay, so I need to go to PC1. Oh, by the way, could we do any additional verifications at this point? Well, I suppose that we could. If R1 is out there and alive and configured with IPv6, let's check that. So I'll show IPv6 interface brief, and look at that. There is an IPv6 address on the R1 device for that segment. So actually I can do a little bit more verification here that I've done things correctly. That's always great. Let me ping R1 from R2. Look at that. It works great. Once again, I'll save, even though I already saved. I save before I close any device window just to 100% make sure I'm saved. So I'm feeling great about that segment. I'm feeling great about 0/0. Now we need to move over, and 0/1 actually. Now we need to move over to PC1 and finish up this configuration, and we'll do one more ping verification as well. So over on PC1, easiest way that I think we can do this is just go to this little IP configuration desktop app, and we are going to input the IPv6 address. Again, being very careful not to have some silly typo. So it's 2001 DB8 85A3 and then colon 85A3 colon 8A2C colon 370 733. By the way, oh, look at that. I've got a typo. 7333. By the way, remember the double colon used once inside an IPv6 address. That is to indicate there's a successive group of zeros there. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there was 2 of these groupings that had all zeros in them. And yeah, we can do the double colon twice in an address. We can do the double colon once in an address to substitute for all those zeros that might be in a row within the address. By the way, we are using a 64-bit mask, so that's good. We also need to put in the default gateway and the DNS. Now, to do this, I'm going to not cheat, but I'm going to help myself out by copying that address, pasting it in, and just doctoring it up for the 7334 address. So I'm going to type that in for the DNS server as well, rather paste it in, and then doctor it up. Okay, now notice this address I just typed in is the address on the 0/1 R2 interface. So from a verification standpoint, I just copied that from the clipboard. I'm going to close up this window, and I'm going to go over to the command prompt for my final verification here, and I'm going to ping the R2 device from this PC, and look at that. It works perfectly. I think I may have redeemed myself here. I think in this Lab 7 chapter review from my textbook, I think I may have just gotten 100%. And notice one of the reasons I believe that is because IPv6 checked out over here on the left-hand side of our topology, and with a ping test, we checked it out over on the right-hand side. And most importantly, I remembered to save my configuration on R2. As far as the saving on the PC goes, you can go in and double check that it's there. Notice we just close it up to save it. Well, it's the moment of truth. Let me go ahead and check my results. And okay, I do feel a little bit redeemed. We have gotten a perfect score on this chapter review assessment. Great job, everyone. Thanks for joining me. And we get another chance to make mistakes coming around the corner, of course, with our Chapter 8 review. I hope to see you then.